How's it going, all you beautiful people? I'm gonna go over the market update for a little bit, but I'm gonna talk about something else after quickly going over the numbers. So ever since January 1st of this year, I've been keeping track of the price of every single ETB from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames. Long story short, the reason why I use ETBs and not booster boxes is a lot of sets don't have booster boxes. The specialty sets don't, so White Flare, Black Bolt, Prismatic, 151. And I don't want to exclude those sets. So I decided to just use ETBs, and I think it's fair to compare ETB prices as long as I'm comparing it to the same ETB price next week. So ever since January 1st, every single week I've been going on TCG Player, and I'm getting the lowest listing on TCG Player of a seller that has some reviews and not negative reviews. And then any of the ETBs that don't say that they're dented or are ripped, because I know those go for less. And the reason why I'm using lowest listing is I know that's not always the best way to get the pricing, but I'm just doing a scenario where if you go on the price of TCG Player and buy every single ETB that moment from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames, what would the price be? How much would you be paying for all that? So I'm gonna put the chart on the screen, and I'm not gonna talk about it for that much. I'm just going to talk about it for a little bit, highlight some things, and then talk about something else. So if you look on and I have the sheet right here, so if it looks like I'm looking on the side, I did not memorize these numbers. It would kind of be crazy if I memorized these numbers, but I'm just looking to the side. So you will notice, and this is what I'm going to be talking about later, you will notice that the market looks like it has stabilized a little bit. So if you have watched my videos week after week, you'll see that week after week, the totals of all these ETBs from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames has been going up a lot. But this is the first week where it's basically even since last week. So if you look at the totals, at the beginning of the year it was $2,500.06 or $2,506.04. Well, I don't know why I said it like that. But last week it was $3,725.36, and today is $3,728.84. So all the ETBs for Scarlet and Violet base and Phantasmal Flames, it's only gone up 0.09% since last week, about $3.50. But if you do look at it, it has gone up 48.79% since the beginning of the year. And I do want to discuss this a little bit, but before we discuss it, I just want to talk a little bit about the change from last week to this week. So it does look like things are stabilizing. And one important thing to note is Scarlet and Violet base Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, 151 Paradox Earth, and Paldean Fates are officially out of rotation. So they're not going to print anymore based on past trends. So I do see these things that these things will go up in price, or I'm assuming that they will. But if you do look at it from last week, a lot of these have gone down. Scarlet and Violet base Koraidon down 7.93%. Paldea Evolved down 0.58%. 151 down 4.37%. Paradox Rift Iron Valiant down 1.08%. Paldean Fates down 2.12%. So it does look like a decent amount of these boxes that just went out of rotation did drop in price. And the reason is, I don't really know. I do think that the market might be stabilizing a little bit, but maybe a lot of people bought it out knowing that I was going to go out of rotation, and now that that's kind of slowed. But I do think that it'll start picking up and these will start going up in price as long as the market is nice and healthy. But I'm going to leave this chart on the screen because it is interesting. Like, if you do want to see the trend of these ETBs in these different sets, I would take a look at this. Like, say you own Surging Sparks. It's very interesting to know on January 1st, it was $69.15. Today, it's $108, and it's one of the good ones that have gone up since last week, because last week was $100.99. Surging Sparks is almost a $110 ETB. That is crazy because about 6 months ago, no one wanted Surging Sparks. I feel like Surging Sparks were MSRP. I know Costco had a Surging Sparks drop. They had a Surging Sparks ETB and a Surging Sparks booster bundle for I think $60, which is less than MSRP if you got them separately. And that was probably the easiest Costco drop that I've seen since Pokemon got hot about a year ago, or really hot about a year ago. So Surging Sparks was not popular, and it's just very interesting to see how that works in today's market. When something is going crazy and going up a lot in price, people want it. When something is not popular, doesn't have instant resale value from MSRP, people don't want it. It's all over the place. It's printed like crazy. People don't want it. But the second that it becomes a little bit scarce, or the second that you can't get it anymore, it goes out of rotation, it goes out of print, people all of a sudden want it again. So that is something interesting to keep in mind. Because Surging Sparks is a perfect example. It is up 56.18% since the beginning of the year, and no one wanted it at the beginning of the year. I feel like when it was $69 market, I mean, that's close enough to MSRP plus tax for people to not really want to pick up, because a lot of people in this market buy an item and try to flip it. But if the market is $69 and you're paying $55 after tax MSRP, there's really no margins to be made unless you're a well-known rip and shipper or someone that has a well-known shop. But even that, I feel like a lot of people weren't buying Surging Sparks back then. So a lot of people just didn't want it. But it's very interesting now because it is $108. But like I said, I'll leave this chart on the screen because it is a little bit interesting. But the thing I want to talk about today is the Pokemon market does look like it's stabilizing in price a little bit. I think to begin the year, the first 3.5 months, it's been hot. Pokemon has been hot. I mean, just look at this. All the ETBs combined, they're up 48.79%. A lot of the ETBs are up close to 70%. I mean, some aren't up as much, but a lot of these ETBs are up a lot in price. And if you look up any Pokemon item, most Pokemon cards, most Pokemon boxes since the beginning of the year are up a decent amount since just the beginning of the year. And that's only 3.5 months ago. But I feel like we're entering a period where there's stabilization of prices at least week to week. I feel like this was probably one of the smallest, if not the smallest gain since I've been doing this series. And it's very interesting because Pokemon is stabilizing. And you know what people are going to say? People are going to say, hey, look, Pokemon is dead. Look, take a look at this chart. Let's take a look. 151, it's down $28 since last week. It's down 4.37% in 1 week. Shrouded Fable, it's down 2.17% since last week. I think the Pokemon market's gonna die. And that's just so funny to me because you just need to scope out. Like, you just need to zoom out a little bit sometimes when you're looking at these prices and not fixate so much on the price from day to day. Like, just zoom out even just 2.5 months. 2.5 months isn't that much time. Like, 2.5 months fly by. I feel like it was just yesterday when it was New Year's and it's already April 16th. But if you're looking week to week, you would say, and a lot of bears or people that are negative about the market, a lot of people that just like to have negativity and want the Pokemon market to tank and die for some reason. Like, it's so interesting to me because I feel like a lot of people, their mentality is, if I can't benefit from the Pokemon market doing well, I don't want anyone to. So let's make everything tank. And I know that's not everyone because some people are frustrated that they can't get product right now. And there's a decent handful of people like that. I feel like majority of people, it's all about the money. It's like they're upset that people are making money off this, so they want everything to tank. But like I said, if you just zoom out, like 151, it might be stabilizing. It might be down. It might be down 4.37% since last week, which people would be like, oh my gosh, the market's about to tank. But it is up 64.95% since the beginning of the year, even after the 4.37% decrease. It's up from $375.87 to $620 in just 3.5 months. So all that to say, if you're watching this video and you're worried about things stabilizing, things dipping, things dropping, I would encourage you to just zoom out a little bit because something can drop 5%. Something can be down 20%. Even if 151 had a 25% correction, it would still be up since the beginning of the year. I think that's what a lot of people forget. They're so fixated on the now. Like, if the Pokemon market were to go across the board and drop 20%, everyone would be scared. Everyone would be like, the Pokemon market's dead. Like, everyone's going to lose money. But if you had these products since January 1st, you would still be up even after a 25% drop since the beginning of the year. Even a 40% drop. And 40% drops in Pokemon markets don't happen too often. They happen sometimes, but not too often. But let's say 40% drop across every single ETB from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames. you would still be up since the beginning of the year. So all that to say, don't be so worried about the market stabilizing, the market dipping. Like the market stabilizing is a good thing for the market to continue to market. If something can't go up forever, it's good. And the last year or two, the Pokemon market has kind of been operating like this. There comes a period where Pokemon products go up a lot in price, and then there might be a small dip, 10, 15, 20%, whatever. But then that's after a huge pump of like 70%, 60%. And then it'll drop 10, 20%, stabilize for a month or two or three, and then it'll go up higher than the previous high. All that to say, if you're in the Pokemon market long term, I would not be worried. The Pokemon market is too hot. I vend at card shows, and the amount of foot traffic at card shows, the amount of sales is insane. You can watch my video on my vendor profits. I show everything. I'm not really I don't need to hide anything. I do this for fun. I don't do this full time, so I don't really mind people seeing my numbers. So if you're ever curious about numbers, ask me. I would just tell you. Because I have nothing to hide. I think that people find it interesting because my best performing videos are the ones where I talk about my profits at vending card shows. But at card shows, and you can see from the videos, sales are crazy because the Pokemon market is just so hot right now. So if you're in the Pokemon market for the long term, I would not be worried. There's so many people that try to put fear in you that Pokemon market's gonna tank, that no one's gonna like it anymore, that this and that, the perfect order came out because no one likes it, no one's gonna want it anymore. You know what's gonna happen to perfect order? And like, I know perfect order isn't a good set, but I'm still fairly confident that this is probably going to happen. In 2 years from now, perfect order will be up a decent amount. Is that crazy to say? I don't think so, because some of the worst sets are still up. And I don't have the prices off the top of my head, but the Pokemon Go ETB, the Pokemon Go set, was probably one of the worst sets that came out. When it came out, people were selling packs for $1. A Pokemon Go booster pack for $1. Even then, people didn't want it. Today, last time I checked, which is a while ago, so don't quote me on this. I think the ETB is like $120 or something. Like, that's one of the worst sets ever. Perfect Order is better than the perfect Pokemon Go ETB. Perfect Order will be fine in 2 years. And that's the worst set that Pokemon has put out since probably Journey Together. So if you're in this Pokemon market for the long run, if you're in it to enjoy it, just enjoy it. I would say as long as you're enjoying the hobby, the profits, the prices going up, like that's a benefit. That's what I really like about this. I love this hobby. I love collecting cards. I love being able to buy boxes and rip them, see what I can pull. I love meeting other people in this hobby. But an added benefit of enjoying this hobby is that I also have things that have gone up in price, and I can use that to sell it, to trade it, buy more in the future of future sets, because this hobby is getting expensive and there's nothing wrong with selling things to continue to fund your hobby. So if you enjoy the hobby, just continue to enjoy it. The prices will come as things go out of rotation, things will go up a lot in price. Like, just enjoy the whole experience. But all that to say, if you've been watching up to this far, I really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube. I'm trying to stay consistent making YouTube videos. It does take time. It does take effort. I work a full-time job, so I have to find time to film it. I'm also trying to do other stuff in my life, like Pokemon, and my job isn't my only thing. I have a lot of other things I have to do. But I really appreciate if you subscribe to my YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's a faraway goal because I'm at 300 something. But it's because it's the first step to enter the partner program of YouTube. So I'm going to keep grinding until I get there, but this has been so much fun for me. So subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. They're all tcg Collectors House. Drop a comment, drop an upvote on my YouTube video. It really does help with the algorithm of showing this video to other people, which then if they comment and give an upvote, they'll show it to other people's. But I would really appreciate that. But only do that if you really enjoyed watching, because I don't want you to just do it to do it. But most importantly, if you're still here, I appreciate you. You're the reason why I'm continuing to make videos. I really appreciate the interactions I'm having with people. And most importantly, I just appreciate you watching. It really does mean a lot to me. So with that, I'll see you next time, and thank you so much again.